In this section, we shall demonstrate correct procedures for making up an extension cable. When you have completed this task, you will be able to construct an extension cable. For this task, you will require an industrial quality 16 amp plug top, a 3-core or 16 amp rated cab tire cable not exceeding 25 meters, and a rubber-cased 16 amp connector coupling. The first task will be to fit a 3-pin plug top to the cable. The task of fitting a plug top begins with cable end preparation, which is called making off. The first step is to remove the bedding layer to expose the cores. A standard 16 amp plug requires that we need to remove 40 millimeters of bedding. A very sharp knife is required to remove the bedding layer. With the cable laid out on a flat surface, carefully score through the outer sheath and the bedding. It is important that we do not cut into the conductor insulation, and this takes some practice. Next, we must score along the bedding. Note that the knife blade is positioned between the cores. In this way, we will not accidentally cut into the core insulation. The outer insulation and bedding can now be peeled away to expose the 3 tails. Now we must inspect the conductors for any damage to the insulation as a result of the knife cutting too deeply. If your cuts were too deep, then an inspection will show that the conductor insulation has been nicked. This is a dangerous situation. If any core insulation has been cut, then you must trim off and start over. If we have done things correctly, the next step is to trim the tails to the correct lengths. Both the live and the neutral tails must be trimmed to a length of 20 millimeters. Use sharp side-cutting pliers. You should now have 3 tails like this. Note the length of the earth tail. This remains at 40 millimeters. We must next trim off the core insulation on each core to expose the copper conductors. This is best done using cable stripping pliers, but can also be achieved with a sharp pair of side cutters. Remove just 4 millimeters of insulation from each tail. Be careful that you do not cut away any of the strands as you do this. Although at this stage the tails appear ready to fit into the terminals, we still need to stiffen them. Stiffening is achieved by carefully sweating each tail with a little solder. Do this carefully, as you don't want any lumps that will interfere with the fitting into the pin connectors. The cable is now ready to be connected into the plug top. First, by loosening the screws, make sure that the terminal connecting holes are fully open. Connect each tail to its respective terminal according to the standard color code, and then tighten the terminal screws firmly. Now we need to secure the cable by pushing it into the cord grip. Note that the cord grip must bite into the outer insulation. A sharp pull will soon determine whether you have securely installed the cable. The reason for making the earth lead longer than appears necessary is for safety, and it is a regulation. In the event that a cable is accidentally pulled out of a plug or coupling, the earth conductor will only pull out after the live and neutral conductors. In this way, it can be ensured that the circuit is still earthed and that the earth leakage protector in the DB will activate and protect you from a severe shock. Complete the task of fitting the plug by replacing and securing the cover.